Hello friends, so the wisdom tooth extraction is better this time around than it was last time, because last time was god-awful, and this time is still awful, but I feel kind of good now. So I figured let's get back into making videos. My friend Silver Gyro over on Instagram asked me if I wanted some X-Men 97 heads to paint up, and you know, I just had to say yes, because look at these heads. These are incredible looking. I'll put a link to his Instagram down here because he has some really cool stuff going on. He's a very talented customizer as well, but what really catches my eyes is look at these awesome pictures he's taking. I've always wished I could take really cool artsy pictures of action figures. Like I keep buying props and stuff, but I just never really put them to use. So yeah, Silver Gyro, stand-up guy, and a very talented guy as well, so check him out. I quite like the official X97 heads, but like for instance Gambit here, I love this Gambit head after I repainted it and kind of modified the chin a little bit to be less elongated down. But this head here is kind of just what this head should have been from the start. I especially really like how the hair isn't as egregiously huge. I'm really curious what this is going to look like with paint. And the same goes for this X-Men 97 Cyclops head here. So here's my original, well, my customized Cyclops head. It's the old Bucky cap Cyclops with the visor from X-Men 97 and the hair from the X-Men 97 figure. And again, this head is just kind of what that should have been from the start, because I didn't like the weird smirk the original figure had. Also, there's some like little... So yeah, we're gonna paint these up. Just a quick little painting video, and we're gonna see how they turn out. And let's just start with Gambit, because I feel like painting up some eyes. So, as usual, best base coat on the planet, Cadian Flesh Tone by Citadel. Also, these X-Men heads are sculpted by ChangoCustoms on Instagram, so I'll put a link to his Instagram in the description as well. Really talented sculptor. Have it a little bit diluted, and we just paint it on like so. I'm not really too careful about hitting everything all around. It's unnecessary to hit what's around it, but for the most part, we can just cover it up with black. And as the paint is coming on, I noticed that there's actually stubble detail. But, yeah, might need a second layer. But Cadian Flesh Tone has pretty good coverage, so definitely not more than that. Okay, so something really cool happened, because I did like almost like a paint wash, and I assume because like the yellowish kind of tint of like tone of the cast, I was gonna dry brush some lighter shades on here, but as you can see, it's already kind of like, you see this line here, for instance? It's like defined by the Cadian Flesh Tone, and then these erased areas are a little bit lighter. So this is kind of perfect already the way it is in terms of skin tone. And I didn't even have to use any white paint to mix up the Cadian Flesh Tone. So let's just continue. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do Gambit's eyes. And Gambit has some very unique eyes in that instead of... he doesn't have any white, and it's just black. So let's try to get it in. I will say it is pretty hard to tell where the sculpts for the eyes like end up here. It's always like that one tiny little spot you can't quite reach. Okay, so now we're gonna just clean up some areas around the eyes. Like you see up here, we can add a little bit of Cadian Flesh Tone. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work, because this is black as the back colors. But we're going to try to add some red here. Wow, this is hard. I need a different type of brush. So this brush is actually really, really pointy, but even though this one here is smaller, I think this one just is better for dots, so... I can already tell this is going to be really, really difficult to put a black dot inside of this, because these eyes are so tiny. Just adding more black. I think if we move it, like this eye here, a little bit close to the nose. Okay, so now we're going to make a hole, like a joint, a nice socket for this ball to go into. So, as you can see, it's completely hollow. And we put some hot glue in here, like so. Don't fill it up completely. And then we push this on like so, get to a good spot. And then we just wait for the glue to dry, and it will dry around the plastic and leave the actual figure completely untouched. So now we just wait. Okay, so we're gonna base the hair in Vallejo dark brown, and then we're gonna dry brush a lighter color on top of that. But the most important thing now is simply to kind of get a ground layer of this brown and make sure to get it into the grooves. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't cover the like the raised areas, because we're gonna go with the dry brush anyway, but we just don't want to hit the skin tone. And then the like head condom thing, it's gonna be black obviously, so that's gonna be very easily covered up by black, but that's what we're gonna do last. I also see we need to redo the ears, because when I was struggling with getting the head off, I must have rubbed off the paint. When diluting paint as well, it's quite easy for the paint to kind of splat on the face, so you gotta be a little bit careful. Yeah, this will do for a like base layer, and then we're gonna go over with another layer and then some dry brushing. And layer number 2. So now we're going to dry brush with a lighter brown. See the highlights here? So now we paint the head condom and it's all just black. A little bit torn on what to do for the eyebrows and the stubble, but to make it easy for myself, I'm going to just paint them black like the animation model. And also in the comics, whenever Gambit is painted or drawn, he usually tends to keep having black eyebrows, so I guess this is fine. Something I hate with sculpts is when the eyebrows aren't raised, and you just kind of like have to draw in the eyebrows themselves, and I find that to be so difficult. But nice, big, thick eyebrows like these are really easy to paint. This stubble, if I were to do it realistically, it would be like grey, but I think I can dot in these with black. Tiny little raised areas of black. I'm not really happy with how this stubble is turning out, because like here, for instance, there's a big empty spot and it's just missing. And I don't really like it. And I also messed up. So back to Cadian Flesh Tone I go. I just have a little bit of Cadian Flesh Tone on my brush, and we're gonna try to repair it by dotting on some Cadian Flesh Tone very thinly. Don't really quite know what to do quite yet, so I'm gonna do the lips, and that's just some Reichland Flesh Shade into the groove like this. Adds a little bit of a red tint to the lips, very, very subtle. But it really accentuates the line here. And while we're at it, we're also going to add it up here. I'm not going to add them here, because the more you accentuate these kind of wrinkles, the older he usually looks. So I'm going to keep them just in the furrowed brow and the mouth. What do we do with this stubble? I think maybe if we just kind of dry brush a little bit of stubble on like so. So it's a very, very thin, subtle layer of black that kind of looks more like grey, but it just adds it. This sculpted stubble doesn't really do anything for me. So here is Remy completed, and I am really happy with this head sculpt here. You can compare it here with the original stock. Well, it's not really quite an original stock, considering I modified like the chin area and I repainted it completely, but honestly, is it better? Yes, it's better in pretty much every way. However, yeah, I don't think I will actually replace my this one, just because of like the personal value this head has for me, and that I did this head during X-Men 97 while it was airing, and I don't know, it's like a sentimental bar in my head, but this head is really, really nice. I did add like the black dot in the middle of the red eyes to kind of try to make it a little bit more accurate. I don't think it's necessary, but it's there at least. So now I don't really know what to do with this head. Should I sell it? Is there any interest for this head? Oh, it is a really good head though. But yeah, again, Silver Gyro hooked me up with this head, and I will get to painting the Cyclops head probably next week. Yeah, thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed.